In tonight's Political Insider, the talent pipeline. The billionaire Koch brothers are known for their influence on Capitol Hill. Now a new report is uncovering how their philanthropy in the classroom is a major key to their political success. Joining me tonight to explain is Dave Levinthal, senior reporter with the Center for Public Integrity. Dave, recent reports revealed the Koch brothers spent more than $19 million on college campuses in 2013 alone, and now we know why. Your organization obtained unpublished audio recordings of meetings focused on the Koch's education funding strategy. What is it?
As you said in the intro, they want to effectively build a talent pipeline from the academy, from universities and colleges and programs that they fund all across the country, colleges in 46 states and the District of Columbia. And ultimately, according to these recordings, officials from the Koch Foundation said that this is very useful in the sense that people who graduate out of these programs can ultimately go to evangelize the gospel of free market economics, to work ostensibly in the vast network of political operations that the Koch brothers are intimately involved with. So on one hand, you have, and we talked with the Koch Foundation, they said, look, this is for education. This really is about what the Koch brothers believe, what Charles Koch in particular believes, that this is stuff that is going to benefit the country. But the countervailing argument to that is that academic freedom is at risk here too, and that the Koch brothers are effectively funding programs and providing material support for programs that teach a very, very narrow, specific slice of academia. And students oftentimes don't really know that that funding is there in the first place in their classroom. Now,
at the center of this education philanthropy is George Mason University. It received more than $14 million in 2013. Why George Mason?
And this, Morris, too, should be noted, it's on top of tens of millions of dollars from previous years, too. Why George Mason? George Mason in particular because there are two research centers there. One is called the Mercatus Center. The other one is called the Institute for Humane Studies, that are very much a very close part, and close to the heart of Charles Koch, who has been the one who's been funding those. Those centers are really all about, when it comes down to it, the study of free market economics and freedom for people to use their money and live their lives in a very free way. And it produces a great deal of academic research, papers, some of which we found are used frequently by politicians, by the government, by Congress. And I had, in fact, analyzed the number of times the Mercatus Center in particular had been mentioned in the congressional record or congressional reports and such, and found that in recent years there had been a definite spike going forward. So clearly this is an organization, George Mason University, a college, and these two research institutions that are gaining prominence for one reason or another.
Now, one of the top lieutenants of the Koch brothers network said it's all about creating a talent pipeline. How are they able to use the money to sway students into their line of thinking other than what we've talked about?
Well, they would argue that they're not swaying any minds at all, that in fact this is really about just teaching people, and that for many, many years, for decades, that the left, that liberals have had just the overwhelming opportunity to teach on college campuses where conservative viewpoints have left to go to seed or never to be taught at all. So many conservatives will argue that this is a great thing, and that's going to provide more balance in academia. The opposite thought, though, is that when you're funding specific professors, when you're funding very specific programs, and we have found through emails and other private documents that oftentimes they want something in return. In one case of Florida State University, they wanted some say in the hiring of professors. In other colleges, they wanted the email addresses and personal information of students who are being taught so that they could continue to communicate with them. Other examples abound. So it really, Morris, becomes an issue of, well, what is the line between a funder, a patron, being able to be involved in a program, and then on the other side being involved to a point where it could be damaging to the notion of academic freedom or even privacy for students?
Well, we're walking a tightrope with this. All right, let's switch gears to Twitter. They'll start donating to federal candidates this election cycle, but Twitter will also disclose those donations within 48 hours. Now, why is that, Dave, and how innovative is this idea?
Well, it's quite an innovative idea, Morris, because most political action committees that are operating in the country this year, they're not going to have to disclose until next year. They can wait effectively a half a year if they choose to disclose who they're giving money to, which politicians are receiving their money. Twitter is saying, no, we're going to take it a different way. We're going to go a different route. If we make a contribution to a Democrat or a Republican, a presidential candidate, a member of Congress, we're going to disclose that on our website within 48 hours. So from a transparency standpoint, this is something that is relatively rare and quite unique. But at the same time, too, it should be noted that Twitter, although it has had a political action committee for a couple of years now, it's been collecting and accumulating money. It hasn't done anything with it, too. So it comes at a time when the company's stock price has fallen and lots of articles being written as to whether Twitter is going to be relevant a few years from now. They're definitely going to be relevant in the political game and have told us that they are definitely going to start making campaign contributions.
We are always making news with you. Dave Levinthal, senior reporter with the Center for Public Integrity. Thanks again, Dave.
Hey, thank you, Morris.